Hey everybody, Keith Moore with Outdoors First Media. We received our Smooth Move seats in the mail about 3-4 days ago, and I installed one of them previously a few days ago, and I thought what I would do is do a video on the whole process and how easy it is to actually put one of these in your boat. Step one, you need to remove your existing pedestal, base, and seat. So I'm going to take the seat off. I've already got it loosened up. Most of them have a crimp here that just tightens your seat base down, allows you to swivel. Move my one seat. A lot of times the pedestal pole is going to be stuck in pretty good. So one of the things that you might want to, if it doesn't just pop right out, get yourself a rubber mallet and just start knocking it all the way around and pulling up on it as you're hitting it. That'll loosen it up so you can remove that pole. Once you remove the pole, one of the things that I recommend is cleaning out the tops of the screw heads with either a brush like this. If you've got a used boat, those screw heads are going to be full of sand and dirt, and you don't want to strip them out just because you can't get that tool down in to the top of the screw head far enough to get torque on them. You clean out all the heads as best as you can. And now we got to get the right bit to remove the screws. Now that I got the heads of the screws cleaned out and I've got my bit set to the right size, I'm just going to simply remove the screws. Pull the base out. Now that I've got the base removed, the Smooth Move seats comes with their own specific design base that you're going to bolt to the floor, so that's going to be step 2. This is the pedestal base that comes with the Smooth Move base. What we're going to do is just simply line up that with the old holes and then screw the pedestal back into place. I recommend putting it on a torque setting so you can hear it torque. You don't want to strip these screws out in case you ever have to get this pedestal back off later on in life. Now that we've got the pedestal installed in the floor, what I need to do is remove the swivel base from the base of the seat so we can attach the mounting plate that sits on top of the Smooth Move Ultra suspension. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull these screws out. Got the existing base removed from the base of the seat. Now we're going to take the black mounting plate, attach this to the bottom of the seat. You line up 4 holes so it matches. I like installing mine on the last two slots, mainly just because it puts a lot more support pressure on the front and center of the seat. And then you're just going to reinstall the screws that you removed from the old base. Try to keep the plate somewhat centered. A lot of times I'd like to just follow this line, make sure that that black plate is in line. That way you know it's for sure centered on the seat, and then tighten it back down. When installed correctly, the plates, bushings here, these are the spots where the bolts are going to actually go into from underneath from the suspension kit. These have to be protruding out, away from the seat, not towards it. Now, next step is installing the Smooth Move Ultra suspension to the pedestal. That's simple step. Setting it on top. It clicks in place. When you hear the click, you know that it's locked in. You can't come up. Now the next step is bolting the mounting plate to the top of the suspension kit. One of the things that I recommend, on the front side of the suspension kit, it's got a tension arm that allows this to go up and down. You're going to need the room to get underneath to install the bolts. So what I do is I crank that and lift the suspension up as high as I can. Now you can see that the suspension is up as high as it'll go. Good rule of thumb, knowing that the seat's in the right position, all your levers to adjust are going to be towards the front end of the boat. And then the Smooth Moves emblem on the back goes to the rear. Now what we're going to do is we're going to install the seat to the top of the suspension. Now that I've got the zip tie removed from the left slide, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the release lever from the right slide, move that forward 2 to 3 notches, slide that one up so it's really close to matching. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to install your 7/16 bolts through the front 2 holes first. And then when those are in place and tightened down, we're going to slide the whole seat back and then install the back 2 bolts. Take the seat, set it on top of the slides, line it up with the holes, and then install the bolts through the bottom. I've got the hole lined up right now with the right side of the seat bar. I'm going to take my first 7/16 bolt that comes in the kit. I'm going to hand tighten that in. Just get the thread started. And then I'm going to take and line up the hole for the other side. Repeat that process. That one's threaded in a little bit, and now you can tighten them down with the wrench. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave these front bolts a little loose until I get the back bolts lined up in the slots that are in the slide bars, and then I'll come back and tighten these back down. Now you can see the slots for the back 2 bolts are a little bit longer, giving you the option to be able to line the seat up in the right spot and install the bolts. Get this one threaded in, and go to the other side, do the same. Now that those are in line, you can tighten these down. With the back 2 fully tightened down, now we're going to go back up to the front 2, tighten those down, and then the installation of the Smooth Move Ultra seat base will be complete.